Lego doesn't sell toys anymore. They sell a system of absolute, unwavering compliance. If you've stepped into a store lately and felt that strange, hollow pang of sticker shock while looking at an $800 box of plastic, you're finally starting to see the code. We've been conditioned to view that bright red logo as a symbol of childhood innocence, of a kindly old man in a dusty Danish workshop carving wooden ducks for children who had nothing. But that version of Lego is a ghost. What stands in its place in 2026 is a multi-billion-dollar legal fortress, a plastic panopticon that has mastered the dark art of monetizing your own memories back to you at a 400% markup. We need to talk about the original sin of the brick. And we need to talk about why the lawyers are now far more important than the designers. To understand the coded reality here, you have to go back to the 1940s. The official story is the one about Ole Kirk Christensen, the struggling carpenter raising 4 sons alone during the Great Depression. It is a great narrative, the underdog who would not give up. But the real leak in the foundation involves a British inventor named Hilary Page. Page's company Kittycraft actually designed the self-locking building brick first. Ole Kirk did not invent this in a flash of genius. He bought a plastic injection molding machine from a British salesman, and it came with Page's samples in the box. Ole Kirk looked at them, made a few subtle tweaks, straightening the corners, flattening the studs, and released his own version in 1949. In any other industry, we would call that a blatant clone. But here is the irony. The company built on a borrowed design is now the most aggressive legal force in the toy world. They will sue a concrete company for using the word Lego to describe a construction block. They will hunt down YouTubers for using a studded brick in a logo. The rebel became the enforcer, who does not allow for competition. But the real soul swap happened in 2003. Lego was bleeding out. They were facing a staggering $238 million in losses, and they were basically one bad quarter away from total bankruptcy. They had spread themselves too thin, making clothing lines, jewelry, and theme parks that nobody wanted. So they brought in the consultants. Jorgen Vig Knudstorp, a former McKinsey consultant, took over and applied what became known as the efficiency protocol. He cut 1,000 jobs, moved factories to low-cost countries, and trimmed brick variants from 13,000 down to about 6,000 to save money. On paper, it was a miracle. The company was back in the black within a year. But in the process, the system in play turned into a system of profit. The brand discovered a goldmine they did not even know they had, the adult fans of Lego. The strategy was brilliant and, frankly, kind of cold. They realized adults have 2 things kids do not: high-limit credit cards and a desperate, gnawing need to feel young again. Lego stopped being a toy and started being a collectible asset. They started manufacturing scarcity, retiring sets early to drive up prices on the secondary market. They watched as a $70 Star Wars set from a decade ago ballooned to $400. They saw a single rare minifigure hit a valuation of $1,600. Lego did not just build sets anymore. They built an investment bubble. And they realized that if they slapped a Star Wars, Marvel, or Simpsons logo on a box, they could charge a premium that had nothing to do with the actual cost of plastic. When you drop $200 on a set today, you are not paying for the material. A BS plastic is a low-cost commodity. You are paying for the 40% of their budget that goes into sales, marketing, and the licensing fees that keep the spectacle alive. Only 5% goes to research and development. Think about that. They spend 8 times more on telling you how great the product is than they do on actually making it better. But look at the cracks in the foundation. While the profits are hitting record highs, the quality is slipping. Fans are noticing color inconsistencies, bricks in the same $500 set that do not even match each other. They are seeing sloppy, simplified prints on minifigures and expensive sets that rely on cheap, frustrating stickers instead of printed parts. There is a strategy here too. If you look inside some of these expensive builds, you will find a mess of mismatching, brightly colored bricks hidden in the walls, teals, pinks and yellows inside a gray Star Destroyer. This is burning surplus. They are using the guts of your $200 set to dump extra inventory of colors nobody wants. It makes the set harder to rebuild into something else, which encourages you to just give up and buy a new one. This is planned obsolescence of creativity. In 2010, LEGO lost its trademark on the brick shape itself. The code went public. Now, competitors like Blue Bricks and Kada are making sets that are arguably better with more detail and specialized parts for half the price. But LEGO's defense isn't better design, it's the monetization of nostalgia. They know that when you see that red logo, your brain shuts off the value for money filter and takes you straight back to your bedroom floor in 1992. And they are tightening their grip on the secondary market too. In 2019, LEGO bought Bricklink, the world's largest online marketplace for used LEGO parts. Think about the move. They now own the platform where you go to buy the pieces they no longer make. They own the resale of their own products. They have closed the loop. They are not just the manufacturer, they are the house, the dealer, and the pit boss. Look at the research and development numbers again. They are not trying to invent the future. They are trying to colonize the world. They are pushing into China and India, looking for 200 million new kids to hook into the system. They are launching movies, clothing lines, and digital apps because the brick is becoming a secondary concern to the brand. The next time you are looking at a $700 Titanic or a $200 Krusty Burger, do not look at the piece count. Look at the stickers. Look at the mismatching colors hidden inside the frame. It is easy to look at these complaints and dismiss them as first-world problems or the grumblings of obsessed collectors. But there is a deeper, more clinical reality at play here. When a company stops prioritizing the play well ethos, the literal translation of the name Leg Got, and starts prioritizing the efficiency protocol, the product becomes a hollowed-out version of itself. LEGO reached an all-time high in pricing in 2025, and they have not stopped. They will tell you it is the cost of raw materials or the complexity of new molds. But we know that 40% of their spending is on the spectacle, the marketing, the personnel, the glossy ads that tell you LEGO is safe, LEGO is familiar, LEGO is home. But is it home? Or is it just a very expensive, very standardized box? LEGO does not need to answer for the color matching issues or the declining prints. As long as they have the licenses, as long as they have the nostalgia, they own the market. They do not sell toy bricks, they sell a feeling. And that feeling is becoming the most expensive thing you will ever own. The brilliance of the LEGO system was always its compatibility. The idea that a brick from 1958 would snap perfectly onto a brick from 2026 is powerful. On the surface, that is beautiful. But in a noir context, it is a form of genetic stagnation. It is a world where nothing is allowed to change because the standard is the law. When you snap those two bricks together, listen to that click. That sound is the heartbeat of a multi-billion-dollar empire that started with a wooden duck and ended with a legal team that would make a world government blush. It is a perfectly standardized, globally controlled system of interlocking plastic. It is the sound of a childhood being archived, indexed, and sold back to you, one overpriced licensed set at a time. We have been trained to think this is play. But the reality is that the system has become a panopticon, a world where even your imagination has to fit within the studs of a pre-approved, licensed grid. The bricks did not change. We did. The simulation is working perfectly. The only question is how much you are willing to pay to keep the memory alive.